show live on QL TV, where we hope to provide you with data that you can use to better inform your wagering decisions. You can get 20% off any BetQL subscription by using the promo code CHAN. Go to the website at betql.co. You'll gain access to a model through a subscription. You can choose one sport, two sports, all sports. We have weekly plans available, monthly plans, and annual plans as well. But if you are going to subscribe, use the promo code CHAN so you can get 20% off any BetQL subscription. Just to give you some examples of how the BetQL model did this weekend, we had a free 4-star bet winner this weekend with the Rams +2 against the Eagles. The Rams were the underdog at closing time, and they won outright. So that was a free 4-star bet winner that you would have had access to if you had just checked out the BetQL website. The model also scored a 4-star bet winner in the Chargers-Chiefs game. The Chargers covered at 8.5 points, and if you took the points as the model suggested, you would have cashed as well. Tonight, we're going to preview the NBA playoff games that are coming up on Tuesday evening and Wednesday evening. Tonight was a day without any playoff basketball. We're broadcast live from Las Vegas tonight, and it's the first ever NFL game in Las Vegas. It's pending as we speak, and the Raiders had the lead as of the time of this show being aired. But the first game that we are going to preview is Game 3 between the Nuggets and the Lakers. The Lakers are 6.5-point favorites. The over-under is 214 points for the game. The Lakers pulled off a Game 2 victory after Anthony Davis hit a buzzer beater, a 3-point buzzer beater walk-off to escape with a victory in Game 2. The Lakers lead the series 2-0. Davis is the story of the series thus far. He has 67 points through 2 games. That's an average of 33.5 points per game thus far in the series. He's getting pretty much anything that he wants against the Nuggets. He had been averaging 27.6 per game in the playoffs before this series started, but he's been absolutely dominant, even more dominant than usual against the Nuggets. What's been surprising in this series thus far is that the Lakers are +21 from the three-point line. They've hit 7 more threes than the Nuggets through the first 2 games. And that scoring disparity from distance has to change quickly if Denver wants any chance of coming back in this series. It's just surprising given how poorly the Lakers shoot three-pointers that they've been able to build such an advantage from the three-point line through the first 2 games. And that's just something that's going to have to change for the Nuggets if they want to make this series competitive. The Nuggets, their problem has been the first half in the first 2 games. They're -21 in the first half, and just having to continually having to come back from large double-digit deficits in the second half has been the Nuggets' MO pretty much this entire playoffs. They fell behind by wide margins against the Clippers. They were able to come back. They fell behind by double-digit margins against the Jazz. They were able to come back in the first round. But you have to wonder if their luck has finally run out as they are staring at a pretty deep deficit right now, a pretty deep hole, including just a soul-crushing defeat in Game 2, thanks to a walk-off 3-pointer from Anthony Davis. Wednesday's game is between the Heat and the Celtics. The Heat lead the series 2-1. The Celtics are 3-point favorites in Game 4. The over-under for this game is 210.5 points. This series is one where the Celtics could easily be up 3-0 right now. They've held double-digit leads at some point in the third quarter in all 3 games, and the Heat were able to come back in 2 of the games to win outright, and the Celtics were finally able to hold off the Heat in Game 3 to put a win on the board. The Heat are +24 from the three-point line thus far through 3 games. They've hit 8 more 3-pointers than the Celtics, and I suspect that's a 3-point deficit or margin that Brad Stevens would take for his team. The Celtics are actually +2 from the free throw line. That's a pretty stunning stat given how often the Heat have been getting to the free throw line in the playoffs, and that's certainly a welcome development for Boston. But you have to wonder if the Heat, in order for the Heat to win this series, they need to build a wide gap from the three-point line, and they need to win the free throw battle. And they've only really done one of that. If you want to, if a plus 24 differential from the three-point line, if you regard that as substantial, I think that's well within the number that the Celtics would take, and the free throw disparity has been actually in the Celtics advantage thus far. I mean, one of the things that's going on is that Jimmy Butler hasn't been getting to the free throw line. I think that's a key thing to watch for the rest of the series. Butler has 18 free throw attempts through 3 games. He's just averaging 6 a game thus far. Butler, before this series, had been averaging almost 11 free throw attempts per game. And so the Celtics have been able to cut down on Butler's free throw attempts by half, nearly by half since this series started. Butler's only averaging 17 points a game, and the Celtics certainly, the formula is there for the Celtics to come back. The Celtics right now are plus 450 to win the series. And I think that's a bet that you're going to have to, you should probably consider making. If you think the Celtics are going to win Game 4, chances are they're going to win. They're coming back to win this series. I placed a wager on the Celtics at plus 450, and it's not going to be plus 450 if the Celtics win Wednesday's game. The Celtics are going to be reverting back to the favorite to prevail in the series. So if you agree that the Heat are not hitting their benchmarks from the three-point line and from the free throw line, then you'd have to believe the Celtics are in a decent position to come back and win this series. I think that the Miami's very similar to Denver in the sense that they've had a lot of luck. They've been behind by a lot, and they've been able to come back in the first 2 games against the Celtics. But sometimes your luck just runs out. You can't hit every flush draw every single time, and the Heat have been running hot throughout this entire postseason. But they might have finally met their match in a team that doesn't foul a lot, and against a team that does a pretty good job in minimizing the disparity at the three-point line as much as possible. So that game is on Wednesday. The Big Data Show will be back tomorrow. We'll be previewing some of the football games coming up for this weekend from college and from the NFL. We'll also be previewing Thursday night's matchup between the Jaguars and the Dolphins. But before then, you can go get 20% off any BetQL subscription if you use the promo code Chan, my last name. A subscription will get you access to a model. The model will give you 5-star, 4-star, 3-star bets on any spreads, any totals, any money lines, any first half spreads, first half totals, first half money lines. As we talked about at the beginning of the show, the model has been pretty successful thus far in the football season. I'll have an article coming up this week about how well the model did recently in a UTEP game. I know not the sexiest game, not the sexiest team to follow, but money counts the same, whether it's in a sexy game or in a game involving a losing team. So I'll have an article coming up on BetQL, the website. It's all the articles on BetQL for free, and they contain a wealth of information that you can use to help better inform any betting decisions that you're going to make. But go check out that article that's coming up later in the week. We'll be back tomorrow evening for the Big Data Show at 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So until then, I hope you stay safe. Good luck with your bets. And we'll thank you for joining us this evening. If you want to send me a message on Twitter at Ian, my Twitter handle of Ian Lazarin. My name is Alex Chan. Thanks again for joining us this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow evening. Thanks again, guys.